Welcome back, everyone, to Onslaught Gaming 40K. And I do apologize for the delay. We wanted to include some more special guests on this show, and we were having small technical issues. But we're here now. We're going to talk about the Tampa Onslaught Open, right? How everything went at the team event. It was an amazing weekend. Orcs did great. The meta for the new Orcs are amazing. Sisters, Admech, Tau. Everyone hates Tau, but for you Tau lovers out there, they came in first place. And we're going to talk about that exactly on the show today. So give us one moment while we toss it up and we get started. All right. First up, we got our great host.
What up, guys?
Say hello to everyone, Thomas. Regal.
Hello to everyone.
And then we have the amazing, love this guy, Mr. Garrett. Introduce yourself, brother, if you don't mind, and tell everybody what you're about and who you are.
What's up, everybody? My name's Garrett. You guys see me at events probably over the last year. I mainly play Orcs, but I did a little bit of Grey Knights. I started playing competitive again like early this year. I've been playing Warhammer for like 14 years. Basically always Orcs. So me and Lewis are buddies, so I hop on here and chat about Warhammer with him for a bit.
I love it, brother. Thank you very much for hopping on, man. It's a complete honor. We're going to talk more about your Orcs here in a second, but we're going to introduce the last special guest that we have coming on. I love this guy, Mr. Ginger, or Ginger number 2. I don't know, Rico. Is he taking your spot? I think he's more red than you.
We'll see about now.
What's up, Bryce? Tell everybody what you're about, man. And
I would love to, yeah. So my name is Bryce. Voice is still a little gone from this weekend, but I was the captain of Team DGen, which Garrett here was also a part of. We did pretty well, played for the top spot on the final day. I didn't quite go our way, but yeah, I play actually a lot of Orcs myself is where I really started. Let him have it for this one. And I got to play whatever the team needs other than that. So been a really good time. Yeah, I've been to a lot of Lewis's events at this point. So I'm really happy to be here. Really happy, for sure.
Yeah, he's way more flexible than I am. I can play two armies or I
can barely touch his toes, I think.
Yeah.
So like acrobatic flexible? Like he's touching,
You'd be surprised, man.
From behind flexible?
I'm a specialist. I'm a specialist.
Love it, my people. No, I appreciate you very much, and you as well, Bryce. It's an absolute honor to have you on, Bryce. It really is, man. Thank you. Much love, man. I love it. So today we're going to talk about a few things, how it went at the Onslaught Tampa Open, how the new meta is shaping out. We know, as we all know, right, team events can be a little bit different than singles events. And matchups, obviously, you get paired in, can be favorable for some players and things like that. That's why I usually play World Eaters, right? Like I try to stay away from Thousand Suns and Tau.
Yeah, I wish we would have done that too.
Yeah, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Thomas is going to break down a couple of things as well about his victory and how he did with Best in Faction at the event. And I'm excited. So I'm totally excited. So go ahead. Hey, Thomas, if you don't mind, we're going to talk with the special guests first, right? Let them break down exactly how their experiences was. And if you don't mind, Bryce, let's go ahead and get you started. Since you're right below me, we'll kind of go in a counterclockwise motion.
Holy crap, he is Waldo.
You found me.
All right, I'm just reading the comments over here like, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you want me to talk about just, like, being the captain for our team in general or my list specifically?
Talk about being the captain. Talk about how you felt about your pairings, how you could have done better, how your list performed, how you could have done better with your list, things like that.
Sure, yeah. So we went through a lot of last-minute changes to our team comp, and I think some of them definitely benefited us. Some of them maybe didn't go the way that we wanted, but that's part of learning. This is only the second time I've done pairings for an 8-man team event, being DreamHack was the first one just last month. And I actually think up until round 5, when I came in a little out of order.
We were a bit gooped for the
Yeah,
last
we were a
round.
bit gooped, I would say. But I think our pairings went really, really well. To be honest with you, I was really happy with just about everything that we got. And some of that was just having experience from doing an 8-man previously. Because with 8-man teams, of course, having to play all of the GW terrains, you run into 2 or 3, if not more, of the tables being just completely ridiculous scenarios of armies that should never be playing each other, missions that should never be being played. But that's the reality of it. And
It kind of makes it fun too to plan for it. Like, yeah, it adds a lot of strategy.
Oh yeah. So that's like
5 and stuff like that.
That's how you end up with our tile list on our team. Was basically as many guns as you can possibly fit into a 2,000 points, and it's supposed to go down first on layout 5 and just kill whatever it's looking at. If I'm being honest though, I think that strategy, at least with the teams that are maybe more prepared, I don't think that actually worked as well as I thought it was going to, regardless of like our team's performance. Just the actual pairing process when we would go to do that, there's a lot of better answers for it in the meta than I guess I'd given credit for, and it really didn't go as well as I had hoped, which I can talk more later. But as far as my list specifically, I ended up just playing the most basic Ultramarine Gladius list you could possibly imagine. And it was mostly just because our team, like I said, went through a bunch of changes. And I'll tell you, Lewis, Cam Kane played a Fellhammer list. I don't know if you noticed that one. That was about 95% of the way to be mine. And it's because knowing that the guard Tau on layout 5 meta is such a thing, we needed answers to attack into that, right? And with what armies we had available, number one, you always want for sure. The AdMech is so obviously the best one of those. It's not even close. You saw Chase get second overall at the event, attacking into almost always that layout. A really, really good by him, obviously really impressive. But that army is by far the number one, I think, that you want at this point with 8-man teams. But we didn't have access to that. So our other options ended up being real weird. And we had a late drop that meant that Marines opened up for us. So I kind of tried to pick something that we could I could be flexible with. It was based around having a lot of Inceptors or Eradicators that could deep strike. I didn't have to have much on the board, small footprint, that type of stuff. I didn't really end up playing on the format, but we were also really lucky to have Sweet on our team with his goofy Nurgle Demons list, which is one of the other better answers that you can have for a situation.
Yeah, that list did really well too for us. We ended up going, I think, 4-1 with where we just dropped him into every gun, and he just still delivered a really good 4-1 performance. So kudos
was
to
he
him.
on Nurgle list or the most Nurgle list?
Yes,
four.
I wanted no part of that.
Yeah, and it turns out the math, no gun line does basically. You have to get he has to get real unlucky, or you have to get real lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he's a good enough player that we can kind of depend on not getting screwed by that. So, it was a lot of fun for sure. Like I said, my list was fun. Definitely wasn't the strongest thing I could have brought, but it was a pivot at the last second when I kind of realized that the Vanguard Marine list that I was going to play was it's a little too hard for me to pick up in 3 days, I think. So I just ended up playing a basic Gladius list. I did the job though. I went 4-1, so I'm happy with it. But definitely better stuff.
You went 4-1 though in a very hard meta, right? I would say Florida has the best and the hardest meta in the world, right?
Yeah, great players
that
here.
Seems to be the case, yeah.
None of my matches were free.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing was free unless you were those poor teams. Unfortunately, we had a bye, right? And there was an odd number of teams. So that was the only ones that were free. But no, nothing else was free, right? If you were actually playing against someone. I see that you had 3 units of assault intercessors. So I guess points increases you just didn't care about. You were just
I can't imagine playing without those things in a Gladius. No way. I'd say in my list, there was probably 4 units that I actually liked, and they were 3 of the 4. No, they're still incredible. 90 points, it's you notice it a little bit more, but they're so flexible. The fact they can trade up with grenades into charge mortals, into just charging something to kill. I mean, this event, they killed, I don't know, a bloat drone, I think. I think they killed Dude, I mean, they just can if you roll okay, because its average is like 6 mortals, right? So it's and then obviously them being able to advance and charge at 12 inches, all that type of stuff. They're still in Gladius specifically, at least, really, really, really good. Yeah,
love it, man. No, I love it, man. So, everyone knows that Space Queens, and that's how I feel about them. But you did fantastic. You did really well. I see. What teams did you go up against? I can see them here, but I want you to tell people exactly what teams you went up against, how you did well, maybe your losing team, things like that.
We played against every team in the top 5, I think, was our match.
I think so as well, yeah. So I know we started off the event playing by Brush and Bolter, which is a great round, really a bunch of really close games, a lot of fun. We drew that at 85 points. We
needed 1 point.
We needed 1 point from our local.
Let's not let's just say we had a surprise performance.
All right, who dropped the ball? Who dropped the ball for the 1 point? Who did you blame it on?
We can't.
You can look at BC.
I only scored. Okay, I only scored 17, so it could be. It's my fault.
Yeah,
I could have scored 18.
It's your fault. You're supposed to do 20-0.
I needed the 18. Let's just call it there. I don't. He had a. We don't want to cook our poor buddy here.
It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, but we drew that one. We were 1 point short of winning that one, which on one hand it didn't feel great, but on the other hand they're a good team, and I was actually really happy with basically all of our matchups there. And I think if we get to play that again, I think more often than not, I'm happy with where we got all of our players into. I'm pulling it up now too, just so I can kind of look at the pairings.
Round 2 we beat. Who did we beat round 2? I think it was. Oh, we beat the other our other local team, the Dogs Degens. Those are basically all of our friends from Central Florida and Melbourne, where Bryce is from. That was a really close one. I think we won that one like in the 90s. I think it was like 90 something.
We might have got to 100. We pulled away a little bit in the late on that one, but they made a bit of a pairing mistake, and so Garrett's orc list obviously performed really well. We worked really hard on that list. I think singles wise, I think that's basically the best orc list you can run right now. Team wise, thoughts about it, but
then you played the Dice Boys, right? Round 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that was another close tie. I think it was a close tie in our favor as well.
We were. I think it was 79 to 81. I think.
Okay, so it was a close tie against us there.
And actually, I will say of all the pairings, I haven't even talked to Garrett about this yet, and I found it out since. The biggest mistake I made in pairings this entire event was actually in this round, and it was getting that orc list into Biosantic Brood Surge Geosealer Cult.
Yes.
Honestly, for as much as Tucker, I'm sure you're familiar with, I've played Tucker consistently at TTS. Like I know a lot of GSC because of him. That detachment, not so much. And I figured it can't be that crazy different as far as matchups go. But
I've played against like normal GSC before. I guess normal, right? The vehicles and like the billion little guys.
Outrider Claw or Outlander
Claw. The other few. And I was like, I didn't really look at his list, to be honest. I was like, GSC, like, it's one of the two that I'm used to. And he's also really good at the game on top of a bad matchup. So basically, the orcs can't effectively kill aberrants with anything in their list. So on his event, he rolled kind of bad on the revives, but orcs just can't kill aberrants effectively. And then the big guy that stands back up just crushes squig hogs is his job. So I think if like I go first, I can probably closer to like a 5 or 5 or a 6, but he went first and was able to basically like turn 1 charge a lot of my stuff. So now I'm like playing like a full turn behind into stuff I can't kill very well on take and hold. So the points kind of got away from me. And it is what it is. I don't think I played super poorly.
Yeah, like I said, that I actually, for as much as Garrett was the one who got cooked, that one's my fault, to be honest with you, looking back at it, because that matchup was really, really bad for us. I didn't realize it going into it, to be honest with you. But GSC are really strong, man. GSC are really good.
They are. That army is legit. I'm scared of it now.
Yeah, I think it should be in every 8-man team if it's being serious, probably.
And they got a buff, a points reduction, everything, right? They're already in a
Yes.
weird spot anyways, where people were complaining and crying about how good they're not. People just couldn't figure out how to create a list for them. And then they got a points buff right before everyone started figuring them out. So they got 10 times better, right?
Yeah.
And it puts us in a weird position now where a lot of armies are going to be reigning like S tier for a very long time until we get another patch. So it's going to be rough for orcs, but I think that we'll figure it out in the long run too as orc players, right? What to do against them. I think maybe mega knobs, things where that makes it hard for them to punch up to as well, might make it difficult and challenging for them as well.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I wasn't playing the standard like kill rig spam either.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm not certain how well the aberrants kill rigs, but I imagine
It has to be pretty
just
good.
fine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's that
It has
different.
to be.
So, but yeah.
But yeah, outside of that matchup specifically, like I said, the whole Dice Boys round, again, good close round. And I was very happy with all the pairings except for looking back at it, that one for sure.
And then you played almost functional round 4, right? So how did that go? That looked like it went in your favor.
Yeah, that one was that was a really fun round.
Me and Bryce had dropped some big wins that round, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both got into matchups that I really, really wanted, and I don't know that they realized how bad I wanted them. Because right, my Gladius list, like to start with my side of it, is it's kind of a flexible, like early defender. It can go into the scrum. It can do a bunch of stuff because it's not really too dependent on terrain or matchup or anything. But there are some things, because I'm playing the full power Eradicator brick, that if you
with Calgar, that's spicy.
With Calgar and the Biologist in the same unit. No, that unit is incredible.
Yeah, that unit we like accidentally made on TTS. I don't know if it was a thing before, but that unit ended up being really good because you can like Calgar says you can always fall back, shoot and charge.
So Calgar gives fall back, advance, shoot, and charge at all time for his unit. It means the Eradicators can't get tied up, and if you try to tie them up with some bullshit, Calgar just kill it. And because the Biologist thing, this is another cool part of this combo. When Calgar kills somebody, the Biologist gets the rule of becoming OC9, which means your unit becomes really tough, incredibly shoots incredibly hard, hits, kills every trade piece in melee, and is this huge OC bomb because the Biologist that can't be like tied up. It's expensive, obviously, but it's worth it, especially in
and you get to always fall back, and you can still dev doctrine, which you can without Calgar. So you can normally you could pay the CP, go to tactical doctrine, fall back and do stuff, but now you get to fall back for free and then go into dev like out of the fallback, which is something that like we didn't really consider either till we came across on TTS, which is super broken. Basically, that unit just like the most valuable thing, probably the most valuable unit in the game, honestly, and like what it can do.
Yeah, like for example, in the game that I played against Tyranids here, the reason that I said that I wanted this matchup, obviously Tyranid monsters known for their big monsters, not known for not having invulns, right? That means the Eradicator brick kills every single thing it looks at. I believe in that game they killed 2 Maleceptors, a Tyrannofex, 3 Exocrines, a Lictor, Gargoyles, Gargoyles. I think there was a Psychophage as well, and I probably missed, and a Pyrovore. I believe
Gargoyles got some strays.
Dude,
how many Vect did you have in the list? How many Vect?
How many Vect did I have?
Yeah,
just one. Ventress.
One. Oh, you didn't take the Ultramarine special of 3?
What's the third one? Calidus, Ventress.
That one list that won at the Denver GT 40K, he took 3 of them. He had
the Vanguard one where you can do the enhancement, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
No,
3 freaking Vects, man. You're just like, look, bro, you are paying taxes in this game. He should have had a T-shirt that just said IRS.
That's not a bad idea. That's funny.
I know, right? I know.
But anyway, yeah, so I got that I really wanted, and then Gary got paired into Wolf Jail, which on its face might seem like a okay matchup for the Space Wolves, but when you actually think about how that play pattern goes, it's really good for orcs because.
And Garrett, you took care of Space Wolves, right?
Yeah, I did. I did have a 20-0 that round.
You got the 20. Yep.
So pretty much like, with the way our list is built, there's like the 3 bikes. Honestly, those 3 little bikes in my list, they ate 6 exalted 8-pound and an Angron charge turn 1. Like they screened it out essentially, like blocked my battle wagon. And then that round, they basically went across like my Crucible of Battle deployment zone on like my home objective side or whatever, just in case he wanted to do a turn 1 charge. Like I made sure he could, you know what I mean? Like I made sure the bikes gave up the turn 1 charge on purpose, but that was it. Right. And they're like flat, across the line. He did end up charging them, which allowed me to pretty much turn 2 Wah and kill almost 2 full wolf units on turn 2.
Dang.
Which in that matchup kind of puts him on like very few units. He ended up bringing it back pretty like kind of scary a little bit with Murder Fang. That guy like walked around and killed like 4 units. I didn't know. I had to read it because I was like, surely that can't be how it works. But he kills something, piles in. I have to hit him back. He gets to kill that thing, and then he did that. He killed a battle wagon, my def kill a war trike, and then my lone beast boss like in one little thing. It's tough.
All in one fight phase. That dude is nasty. Yeah.
And also in that round, shout out to Mike too. Actually, he so Steve Trimble, who I've been informed is a fairly good player by some people, who playing 30 Terminator World Eaters, and he I don't remember if he attacked or defended, but he ended up taking that with Thousand Suns, which sounds like a really, really hard matchup to me, and he got us on a 9-11 there, which is what let us get all the good matchups around it, and keeping that close meant that we won by a fairly comfortable margin without having to get too much into like scraping for points with anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is obviously. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say somebody jumped on the grenade, and that list. See, World Eaters, regularly are not good into Thousand Suns, but that list is
right.
And layout 7. I don't know if you said that.
It was on layout 7 too. That's right. Yeah.
And layout 7 helps. Yep.
And that's one of the crazy things about teams is that yes, he technically lost, but being able to pull a result like that in that situation is the best thing you could ask for as a captain, basically. So that was really cool to see.
I love it, man. And then the last matchup, you went into the illustrious, the Mahus. We had the name, and we wanted to publicize it, and I had to change the name, right? For those of you who don't know, right, I was the head judge at the event, so I allowed it at the event. I don't care, right? Everyone's having a great time. You want to troll, that's fine. But to publicize it, we had to change it back to Threat Level Midnight. So you went up against them, round 5. How did that go for you guys? How do you feel like you could have changed anything in that game? Because obviously we know where they ended up at. So how did that end up for you?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing I'll preface this by saying that the rest of these rounds we were very prepared for going into it. Yeah. But that being the Sunday game, that Sunday of course comes after Saturday night, which means that you're not always
like me, Mike, and Bryce and Dave were cooked.
Yeah, I know you can see me on Trevi's stream there, and I walk in, I'm pretty much immediately like, all right, this is not gonna go well.
It was 5 rounds. It's not like Crucible where it's 7 rounds.
No, that's not why.
That's not why
right?
I get it.
That could have been the first round of the tournament. That still would have been.
Got it. I get it.
Yeah. So, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse because realistically, that is, like I said, I think the first 4 rounds of parries went very well for us. That one certainly didn't. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One is that I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to pair when the other team has a few Art of War players and Tucker's a really good player, and they're all a lot more used to this than I am, to be honest with you. Which is it's okay. I'm learning. That's the only way you can learn is by stuff like that happening. But also, honestly, one of the biggest things that happened in this, and this goes back to the AdMech thing I mentioned earlier, is of course TLM was playing an Imperial Agents list. And
I wanted that list. I would have fought it.
and on first
You wanted all
pairing,
that smoke, huh? You wanted that smoke, Garrett.
I would.
so everybody wanted that smoke is the and so basically what I had hoped for is their answer for us winning the roll off and putting down layout Tau on layout 5 first was they were going to put down Admech, who is a natural counter to Tau.
Yep.
And then they're going to put down the Imperial Agents list because that's literally what they told Charlie, as far as I know, that he had to get ready for. Is just go be a bunch of guys with 4 Binvolds, I guess. I still don't really know how it works. And we actually made the choice that I would rather take the Admech, figuring that would actually be more of a drawish game, especially to keep in mind this was all on the ritual. This was round 5 was played on the ritual, which is inherently a draw type mission anyway. So I was hoping for actually to eat the draw there, push agents down into something that could beat it worse. In reality, though, that A, didn't happen, and B, when I really look at what that would, I don't know what that army for us would have been, to be honest with you. And then I think the second mistake that I made there was their first defender was Morgan playing Death Guard on layout 7.
Yes.
Death Guard is a really interesting team's army right now as well, especially after this event, as far as depends on the role you're really going for. But when you tell them to defend on layout 7 and just hunker down, I mean,
that's like always a 10.
Yeah. I mean, I got a 12, but
that's true. That's true.
Yes, I did. But that army is really, really hard to just try to milk points out of, to be honest with you.
It's rough for orcs, man. It's real rough for orcs.
When I
it's
die,
impossible for orcs, basically.
If I get that matchup, I'm fighting Bryce outside.
Hitting on 5s and 6s is like, all right.
It's like my power claws. Missing everything.
Airball.
Yeah,
but,
airball.
I guess I think one of the biggest mistakes is
sideways at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
I put as our attackers into that. I put me and Mike. And realistically, with how the tournament had been going, I think it was a mistake because I think I just needed to play, and this is where you sometimes have to do a decision with teams on just pure army matchups as opposed to how players are maybe performing for the weekend. And I think one of the only ways for us to compete in this one was actually if I take Morgan there and at best get a 12 like I did, that's great for the situation it's in, but 12 is just not that much, right? I think I needed to find somebody else on our team to go and just actually get a 10 or even a 9 or whatever it is, and then give myself a chance to hopefully find a 17, 18, 19 or something like that into somebody else. I think was honestly the answer, because that Death Guard list on that layout is just not going to happen, basically.
Yeah, it's gross, man. Yep.
So yeah,
it's uphill battle.
I got paired into Eldar that round, and frankly, I could have pushed for probably more points than I did. I played like very fundamentally, I think, in my game against Eldar. There, I ended up getting, I think, is it a 64 or a 14-6?
14. I got it at 14.
Yeah, like
that should be easy for you. Yeah, that's cat food for you, man.
Well, they were for sure. I think the captain instructed them to all play pretty safe based on like the game. It was a good game for sure. Like, I'm not salty about it at all, but it was a really conservative game, and I should have understood like our team scenario and like just really tried to ram it up the middle. But you know, he had like if I put my Swigs in the wrong spot, he can like Phantasm the Wraith Guard brick and like blow them up off Wa turn or whatever. They're like any real aggressive move I did, that Wraith Guard brick was kind of right in the middle, and it could sort of blow it up. Yep. And the way that like the objectives were strung out, I couldn't really like, you know, contest too many. But I think hindsight, I think maybe I just like go up the middle as fast as I can. But I also went second too.
Yeah. It's just a weird situation to be in when on the ritual you're expecting just a lot of drawish missions throughout, and we realized really quick that we had a couple of games that were going to go really bad in the wrong direction, which it's just on the rich. It's just really hard to make up for. And I don't really know what the answer is, I guess, going forward as far as how to pair more proactively on that round. But it's definitely something to look at because the way we did it here just obviously didn't work, I guess.
Well, it's going to get better next year, right? I can't divulge a lot of the new information that I know, right, in the back end. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank, NTL, of course, for allowing me to do this and be the first person in the state of Florida to put an 8-man team event together. It was an absolute honor and pleasure. But a lot of things are going to change next year in favor of these actual issues not happening, right? It's going to give you the ability to play a more even, streamlined type of game, right? Where you have the ability to actually punch up in certain circumstances. Obviously, like any game in 40K, right? You're always going to have a yin to your yang. But it's going to be up to you, right? You're going to have to just practice these missions even more. Understand them, how to actually do strategies and be tactful in these games. Ritual is actually one of those games, if you don't understand it, or missions rather, if you don't understand it and you don't play it a lot, it can catch you off guard, right? It can really make the game really stale and stagnant where you don't know where to aim. You really have to be, in my experience, and I played it with orcs, especially at ATC, where I went 5-1 at ATC this year. Actually, I keep on wanting to say last year because I've done so many events. Man, it feels like I'm in a new year already. But I did so well on the ritual, and I actually went against world leaders on top of that. And I understood, like, turn one, I had to be ultra aggressive and keep them away from the center of the board, and it really helped me out. Just shit out all of those objective markers throughout the game, make sure that I was keeping the world leaders away from doing what they needed to do in the center of the board, and them not having the amount of units needed to just, make objective markers and do what they need to do. And all the bodies that I had, I just really kept them away from that. A lot of armies can't do that. Maybe Space Marines can't do that. I know Garrett's army has the full potential to actually do that, right? Especially your list. So it's really dependent on your list and understanding. I know that's Regal's favorite mission.
It in supply drop I really like now. This last data slate. Because to answer your question, Bryce, find you an army who can 3-inch deep strike or can keep a battle line unit in reserves, and just get 20 at the bottom. Yeah. Just get 20 at the bottom of 5.
I thought secrets were worse now, man. What's going on?
Yeah. G-Dub thought they nerfed it, but there's high points.
Just like, I can only get 10 points here. Well, I already got 20 on primary because it's the ritual. Why not? I'll just sack my army to make sure they get 5 one turn. They have 35 primary. I have 40. I win.
You're not,
I love you, Cam. No.
Ritual always gonna be. That's his baby.
Dude, I love Ritual because of the complexity. That's why I like it. Like, I like challenges. I love challenges.
I mean, I don't mind the Ritual.
No, I really like the Ritual as a general. Yeah, it's just like it messes with the team matchups
it
more
does.
than I would hope it would. Basically,
it does.
Just switch out round 1, purge the foe for terraform, and it'd be perfect event.
Terraforming's terrible.
I love terraform.
I go first with my fast army. I now have 30 primary automatically by doing this.
I have 5 lictors and 30 gene throwers who scout. I see no problem.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, terraforming is unbelievably unfair.
Oh,
what the Ritual does, right? So these are all strategically handpicked when I do all of these missions and things like that, especially when if any of you, like me and Nick, a couple other guys from Atlanta, the Georgia Warlords, we ended up going to DreamHack, right? These were the same missions that were used at DreamHack. So a lot of the people were already familiar with the missions. Playing the Ritual at the end, what that does, it creates a complexity level and creates a disparity between novice players and expert level players, right? So you have to really understand how that mission works. and then you get your ultimate final winners that you're looking for as a tournament organizer, right? Or as a CO, like I like to call myself, a community organizer, right? But it really creates that disparity where you're like, okay, if you don't understand this, you might lose really bad in this mission. So, and I know that sucks to a lot of you players, you know, you guys listening, you guys
I like it.
I was gonna say, don't bother me, but I do see what you're saying. Yeah.
But I like that. I like that type of stuff, right? Because then you understand. You don't get this gray area of, oh, did they win off a fluke? Did they win because the mission? Did they, was Purge the foe in the World Eaters or Orc's favor? So they won. All these things.
And everyone on your team went seconds. That's a
real thing.
That's a real
thing. Yes, that's another thing, right? Like going second is a real advantage. Just like first used to be a real advantage, now going second is a real advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
So thank you, Bryce. I appreciate it, man. You hogged up all of Garrett's time. So Garrett, you have nothing to say because he didn't allow you to get in.
I was getting in there. He was the captain and the list, so he gets to cover a lot more.
No, I'm kidding, of course. We're going to take a little time out real quick. I want to make sure to support our sponsors. It is always supporting Onslaught Gaming 40K. So give us a couple seconds, everyone. It's going to be about a 1:10 video, and we'll be right back. All right. And especially that this individual was actually at the event with some beautiful, beautiful Tyranids. So enjoy the video. Make sure to go support and buy some product if you can. Welcome to Big Bear 3D, your ultimate destination for top quality terrain and weapon props. Whether you're setting the stage for your next epic battle or enhancing your collection, Big Bear 3D has you covered. Don't forget to scan the QR code to explore our full range and bring the event home with you. Happy gaming! Big Bear 3D is excited to collaborate with Away Games, bringing top-tier competitive experiences to events across North America with our adaptable modular event tables. The Away Games event table, official for the American Team Championship and standard for the National Tabletop League, can now bring the event home. Pick up the Away Games 2024 event table to replicate any layout featured in ATC or NTL circuit events. Big Bear 3D is thrilled to offer sci-fi weapon props and raw part kits, printed in PLA plastic with all necessary assembly hardware included. We've also partnered with Hobby Goblins to provide assembled and painted prop kits for our customers. And don't forget, bring the event home with you. So thank you to Big Bear. Thank you to Big Bear for all of the props that he brought to the Onslaught Tampa Open as well. Next year, just so I make sure that I don't get tagged by anything, right, I'm going to rename it to Onslaught Tampa Team Open, just so it's more obvious to people, right? I think that's a good name, too. And Tactical Tortoise actually did that on his stream. And shout out to Tactical Tortoise Trevi as well for everything he did at the event. But going back to Big Bear, right, I much appreciated. I loved everything that he brought to the event. I know that Jack ended up picking up one of the new bolt pistols, I think it was. And then last gen's bolter I gave away as a raffle from Big Bear. So much love to him. Thank you so much. Make sure to go check out my descriptions in YouTube so you can get a big discount on his terrain product from Away Games. Shout out to JD from Away Games. Love you. Thank you for everything that everyone did, and participated at, man. So shout out to NerdCon. All right, so that's my spiel of paying the bills, guys. So Garrett, break down how you felt about everything. I know you kind of been talking with Bryce, about how the event kind of went for you, but specifically, how was your experience? You know what I'm saying? Let's, not about, not negative about people, but
of course,
the event. How did you feel about, the environment, the venue, things like that? Was there a close enough bar? If you're a drinker, I don't know. Tell me about your overall experience about everything. And hey, feel free to give me some constructive criticism so I can make it better for you and everyone else that's experienced next year.
No, I mean, the venue was actually great. I think the food was really underrated. I had some food, I think, Saturday at the venue. I didn't go out. wasn't feeling great, but the food was actually really good. The toffee cookie was crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy good, actually. The temperature in the room is actually like a real thing that matters a lot at these events. And there was points where I was in my showing off my arms a little bit in the event with my tattoos and stuff because it was good temperature in there. So I really liked it. All my opponents were fantastic, frankly. I thought all the terrain was super nice. It was all uniform. So kudos to you there. Like there wasn't like a layout one that's better than another layout one. You know what I'm saying? But really, really big props there because when you end up with if you end up with 45 tables, I think something. When you have that many tables, like on your last 10 tables, a lot of TOs like start using what's left, right? To make the tables work. But the fact that you're top to bottom, like even the guys who maybe aren't doing as well in the tournament are still getting the same experience as the guys who are 4-0, 5-0. That matters a lot of these things because it sucks to get shot from the side of a building that you should never be able to get shot from because the terrain doesn't exist, right, or something like that. So really awesome job there. And I also found out this is something for the people, the little the little thing on the terrain that was there. That's the 1 inch indicator for when you can't be charged. I learned that on the stream. Yeah. So if you just put your guys off of that, you're unchargeable, basically. I don't know. I learned that. That was cool. Yep. Great event. Loved it. I don't really have nothing really bad to say at all. The cart idea was awesome, actually.
Yes. That was all JD. Yeah, JD's amazing, man.
I ended up piling my stuff on the cart anyways, but
I had some stuff on there too, I think.
Yeah, like round 1, it was beautiful. All my units were striped and beautiful, and then by the second round, it was like shuffling through Gretchen to find. Yeah. But it was nice to roll it around, not have to dig it out of the box. Honestly. So, my personal event. I finished 4-1. All 4 of my wins, I think, were completely in my control from turn 1 to turn 5. The way that me and Bryce built the list, and I'm pretty much giving him a lot of credit because we pretty much built this completely together. Frankly, he played it like a lot of games almost on my behalf, and I played some, and we kind of compare what we noticed between the games. So pretty much the philosophy of our orc list is. Turns 1 and turns 2, your goal is to try and put your opponent on 5-0 primary with your trade units that we put in the list, like the truck with the boy truck, the Death Killer War Trike, the 3 bikes, and those are your 3 big, and then and then you start with one of the 5-man storm boys on the table. Yep. So depending on where the objectives are and stuff and the buildings you have, your goal is to pretty much try and deny your opponent at least 5 primary for turns 1 and 2. To put them on 5, and then sort of pseudo guarantee yourself 10 on a lot of missions, right? And then while you're doing all that.
And for all the orc fanatics, what detachment were you playing? I don't think you mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I was playing Warhorde. Yeah. Warhorde. Warhorde just feels like the cleanest, and I think it rewards being a good player more than the other orc detachments.
I think it certainly does. Yeah.
I played Green Tide at DreamHack. I also went 4-1 with Green Tide at DreamHack, but I was miserable for the whole event, frankly. Anyone wanting to try Green Tide, it doesn't kill anything, okay? You die the whole game, and then you win. This is how it goes. This is how the game works.
True indeed. True indeed.
And that's literally, I promise, you literally don't kill anything the whole game, and you win by 20 plus, 20, 40 every game. Then other orc lists I liked. There's a Bully Boy list, and I think another Warhorde list at the event.
Dude, I stole that Bully Boy list. I stole your list and that Bully Boy list. I stole them both.
Yeah, they're solid. We were talking we think this list might end up being better for singles than for teams because. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's something. So that orc list is a lot taken from my experience playing the index before Garrett came back, and then kind of building that since he's been around, of course. Like he said, we basically built the end of this together, and it's really good for singles, I think, because it lets you control the game, like he said, very comfortably. And as long as you're getting your timing on long turn 3, you are in such a unbelievably strong position if you're not trolling yourself by killing stupid units early, that a lot of times you can win the game. Because the problem with falling turn 2, of course, is it gives your opponent time to do all the comeback mechanics that they have to actually kill your stuff, to actually get the big swings on 4 and 5 for primary, whereas pushing that turn later, it's actually more of a snowball than you realize it is. But in teams, what that can lead to is that where there are games where I think he could have got maybe an 18 to a 20, because you are playing slower, it can result in like a 14 or whatever it happens to be. As opposed to, As opposed to the triple kill rig, thank God. Yeah, no, that's the triple kill rig.
That's what I was going to say, literally. The triple kill rig is a lot more 20-0 potential. Because in teams, if you get the right pairing into something that just can't kill rigs effectively,
then you just
they just get to walk around the table.
It's a stat check, If you can't punch up, it's a stat check. Just like I think Warhorde is better into Bully Boys than vice versa. I think Warhorde actually, has the upper hand against. At ATC, I played into Bully Boys, and it was just like, it was night and day, man. It was night and day. And I'm a Bully Boys type of guy. I've always loved Bully Boys. When I started off with the Codex, it was Bully Boys for me, just like everybody else, right? But Warhorde has really, since the Index, I've adopted that again. Warhorde just feels better. That sustained hits just feels amazing for orcs. It just feels orky, man.
And it's really good.
And then all the strats, all the strats that work on everything except vehicles, basically. Kareen is the best strat in the game.
Facts.
But I'm not gonna break down all my matchups, I don't think. Pretty much, I pretty much applied what I just said to like every single matchup I was in. Certain matchups you can be a little more aggressive with the squigs. Pretty much they're invincible if you're strength 6 or lower. Pretty much like nothing can ever kill them.
I think it's like literally, I can't think of.
Like the squig hogs against Grey Knights, the squig hogs just cannot die, basically. Because you use -1 to wound them, and they're wounding them on 6s with damage too.
Yep.
And just a lot of stuff like that. But I will say, like, if someone wants to just pick up, like, I don't want to gas us up too much here, but if like someone was just like pick up this orc list and like just run it up the middle, you will get murdered.
Gas it up. No, gas it up, man. That list was crazy. When I looked at it, I was like, yo, what were you thinking? Like, I didn't think it was a bad list. It was just a unique list. I loved it.
There's a lot of nuance to it, and we like planned out tipping point deployment with like layouts, and like we really did like put a lot of time into like where we deploy all the squigs and stuff.
You can tell.
So like if you want me to, because this I really like, that's the list I'm gonna be playing at the lane GT next week. Like, I love that list so much. And basically the simplest part of the play pattern, right? And why this isn't the craziest thing ever, but that Squig Hog unit is unbelievably powerful. Like you said, it's invincible in some matchups. It's like the best funnel for every Warhorde strat you can find, basically, especially with the enhancements for fallback and charge. It means that same thing as I mentioned about the Calgar unit earlier, where it can't get tied up, so your opponent just doesn't have good ways to play around it. And it'd be one thing if you're trying to wall turn 2, where it's as simple as deep striking like interceptors in front of it, so it can't go anywhere. But since you're pushing for round 3 and you're eating all the trade units before the wall, it means that unit, all it's trying to do on turn 1 and 2, right, is just run onto the natural expansion and stand there, because there's nothing in the game that is going to challenge that, like nothing in the game, right? Which means you're basically guaranteed your home plus the expansion, whatever that's worth, depending on the mission. And then as long as you're focused on getting the board state good enough for them to wall.
Three like Storm Boys are basically on the opposite side of the board. And the Commandos too, also.
Yeah, of course.
All of those are you either fighting for their side objective, or trading in the middle to make sure they can't score one or the other.
Yeah, and then try to kill their little stupid like rangers or whatever, their type of screens that can stop your squig unit. Because then on water, when that unit comes out, and it's a lot of times it's really just walling. It's not even going that far. It's just going to the middle, but it has such a gigantic threat range while being so powerful and so tough that it just creates a really, really good play pattern for turn 3 WoW with orcs. I think it's unbelievably strong, to be honest with you.
2 downsides, 1 plus, because I've used them a lot before people thought, they were super amazing. I love me some Mazrog and some Squig Hogs. I use them at ATC. Matter of fact, I use a fat pack of 9 with Mazrog, right? A 6-pack of Exalted 8-bound completely bounced with the -1 to wound on them. I mean, completely bounced off of them. It was hilarious.
my round 1, Angron charged him on the bottom of my Wa turn.
Yeah.
And he killed 3 of them. And then they cracked back and put him to 2 wounds.
Yep.
Like,
and they're gross, bro. I still think they're overpriced, though. I still think they're overpriced. I think they need to drop like 5 points each model. I don't think they're good enough. The reason being, right, and the biggest reason being, is that the 2 downsides. They can't move through ruins, so they can't effectively move very well around the board. So you have to have a strategy for them. Like, hey, I'm running the ritual, so I'm gonna spread out and hold 2 objectives, right? Or just hold these 2 objectives. So you gotta have like a defensive mentality with them. Second thing, biggest thing, all of them are AP1, which sucks, man.
That's real against a lot of stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the work life right now, right? Is we just 2-ups with armor contempt are invincible.
The good news is Deathwing Knights can't kill them ever. Grey Knights can't kill them ever. So it's like the really scary armor of contempt stuff with 2-ups can't really kill them back. Generally, I don't think World Eaters get armor of contempt.
The only thing in the game that I know that kills those squigs reasonably is the Eradicator unit.
Yeah,
they just have a slap boxing match. It's like,
The aberrant character actually kills.
Apparently the aberrant character.
The aberrant character.
The abomination will smack them. Yes, absolutely.
Then the other real spicy thing is that we have the Def Killer solo with the Flora Fiona Pain.
Yeah.
That guy is really useful for move blocking. He's OC3, so he out trades rhinos. Like, so if they just park a rhino in the middle, you get to just park him in the middle also, and now you have it. And, and then he can eat like 20 wounds can go through on him, and he almost lives on average. So he's just really durable and hard to kill. He's not a vehicle, not a monster, so like the anti-vehicle killing stuff doesn't work on him. I don't usually -1 to wound him unless it's like trolling or something useful, but his base size lets you just block entire lanes sometimes. Just really good utility piece. Then on water he can go 18 automatically, and like boomstick something.
No, I love your selection of units, man. That right there, what you're talking about, right? The Death Killer War Trike, amazing piece. You just got to know how to use him. You have to have a role for him, right? And I think you use them perfectly. Use them perfectly.
Yeah, then the 3-man bikes, basically the same role as him. Like they're for 70 points, it's like it ends up being like 9 inches long, I think, or something like that. And it's just a straight line of T6 people that can like block things. Basically those guys, they didn't do anything but stand places and die. I shot their. I mean, it's just super useful. And then if anyone's not playing Zodrod with 22 guys, you're trolling.
Yep.
That guy.
No, it's honest.
Yeah, and then I'm actually not sure. This came up at the event. I didn't really care because I'm not playing it. But does Zodrod get his WA bonus twice in Bully Boys based on the wording of his rule?
He's not a war boss,
right? But his special rule says when the WA is active for your army. So the Bully Boys WA says you call the WA a second time for your army, right? So it's active for your army, just only for the orcs and stuff, but it's still active for your army. So I wasn't sure if he gets to maintain the 12-inch move for 2 turns.
You know what? That's actually ironic you say that, right? Because I was looking at that last night and I was asking myself the same question. And because he has a specific rule that says while it's active, but Bully Boy says it's only active for these particular units, right? I would probably read it as raw no, but it could be interpreted either way. Like it might be intended that way, but because Bully Boy says one thing, I say it no. I
Wouldn't
think
it
it's
be that the Space Wolves used to have with their different vowels, where like use a stratagem was like as if that was the vow they were under or whatever, even though the army's under a different one.
I know the
was
Black
something-
Templar
yeah,
one.
that came up there too. Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Templar one, it doesn't work in their favor either.
Oh,
For like
okay.
like if you have 10 Hazard's Bones on a unit and you pay the CP to turn them to that vow, they don't get a 5 of Feel No Pain in that unit or whatever. It doesn't work that way. Okay, well that's I just didn't matter for me, but I personally won't ever play Bully Boys. I don't think. I think it's good. I don't think it's bad. I don't think I'd ever play it personally. But I don't think I got anything else too spicy in the list. Really, it's really just the play patterns of it, like Bryce was saying. You unless you like really think about it, you'll get cooked if you just run this list up the middle. Honestly, so. But yeah, I mean that's it. Great event. I had a great time. I got a little under the weather toward the back end of it, but I feel way better now.
A lot of people did. So first of all, I hope you feel better. But I had a lot of people message me. They were like, "Hey man, you might want to get tested. I think I caught COVID." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, dude!" It was like, "Who were you making out with?" You were going to the tables and just making out with all of your opponents. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, take vitamins, man. Flintstones exist.
Yeah, where's the Flintstone?
They exist, man. They exist. No, thank you to both of you, man. I appreciate it very much for breaking everything down, and I'm glad that you had a fantastic time at the event. Obviously, next team event, you guys might change it up. Hopefully next year, right? Like I was telling you guys, things are going to be different. So I'm excited to see how you guys perform next year in all of the new team events. So,
spoiler,
April,
our next tentative plan is to play 180 Terminators in our next team list.
We'll see about that one.
What's that? Chaos
all 8 of us. So we mathed it out. There's enough different Terminator bodies to have all 8 players on the team play max Terminator. Yep. So you go Grey Knights, Space Marines, Custodes, World Eaters, Chaos, Mega Knob Orcs, Death Guard.
Technically, I think you can do T-Suns, but
the Thousand Suns Rubric Marines, and then that ends up being like 180 something Terminator bodies. But Bryce doesn't like it, but I think it's sick.
I'm bringing 3 Exocrines. That's all I gotta say.
But watch out, the Fellhammer gives a 5 of Feel No Pain, all right? Very careful about 3 damage.
That's it. That's all I got. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, you're good. You're good. And then we got the illustrious Mr. Apparently, you don't have opinions today. You don't have no opinions today. You must be just tired today, Thomas.
My computer was not agreeing with me. I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to push my luck. Getting in here was a battle.
You were like, I'm just going to use my government name, and that's enough for today.
Yep. Look, C's get degrees. I'm here.
So, congratulations. First of all, you won Best in Faction for Tyranids. Good stuff, brother. You came in 9th overall throughout the entire event, which is quite amazing. Out of 88, technically 90 people, but out of 88 active participants throughout the event. So, great work, man. Tell us about, what you went through, your experience. I'm glad you finally get to speak about your experiences going to this event. I know we're usually on the show together and you didn't go to the event, but this time you actually did, man. So break it down for us, brother. Let everyone know exactly how it went for you and the Tyranids and the biomass that you took from everyone.
Well, first of all, it was very fun. It was a wonderful event, and I very much agree with Garrett. The AC choice for that, perfect. Oh my god, it was wonderful. I don't think I didn't sweat once. It was great.
It's got to start freezing, and then it just works its way up over the day. Basically,
as you're playing, you're like, "Oh, I'm comfortable now. This is nice."
Yes.
So I made the grave mistake of telling my team I could handle Death Guard. That was my first mistake. I ran Vanguard Tyranids. I ran 30 Gene Stealers, 2 Lictors, Death Leaper, 2 Neurolictors, a unit of Warriors, winged Tyrant, Biovore, and 3 Exocrines.
That sounds. scary, actually.
Yeah. I always forgot that I had 3 execranes. Like, man, I only got 4 missiles and a hive tyrant. Then I'm like, right, I got 3 cannons. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
But
it's very scary. I played against it a few weeks back, maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, and with world eaters at that, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Play on layout 1.
Yeah. I told them, I was like, yeah, Death Guard, I'm really faster. I'm good with. I did not calculate their point changes into that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they got like another unit or two. It'll be fine. It was fine.
So Plague Marines be smacking, huh?
You know, it wasn't even that. I got Purge the Foe Death Guard table 7. And I'm like, cool.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Into
terrible.
Into Morgan from TLM.
Oh, yeah. Good player, for sure.
And I'm like, and for those of you who don't know, Purge the Foe is the worst mission to play Tyranids with.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah,
it's a juicy spore mine you got there.
Exactly. And not only that, spore mine, every Genestealer unit and every warrior unit is 2 units because there's a character in it.
Yeah.
Can you not shoot spore mines?
I mean, sure, but
yeah, no, it's like
wouldn't you just not?
Yeah, right? You don't even have to kill them. You can just get within 3 and they blow up and you get 4 points. It's great.
I mean, I would say maybe don't shoot them then,
You know, I still did. I just put them in places where I knew Death Guard couldn't actually get near.
Okay, there you go. That's good. For
sure. But that was a draw, 10-10. Morgan's a very good player, and that Death Guard list is. I've never hit on 4s with Genestealers, and it didn't feel great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, what are you doing to my boys?
Yeah.
But we got a draw. It was super fun game. My next match was into another Death Guard player, Dirk. So
no.
Hey, you're just taking all the grenades on the weekend, huh?
Yeah, I played on table 7, packed up, went to lunch, came back, got table 7 Death Guard again. That was my day 1.
Your captain needs to buy you dinner for that.
Now, well, again, I told him, yeah, I'll take Death Guard. I want this. It's fine. That one I did win 12-8. And because on supply drop, GW made a wonderful choice to say, hey, you can't score primary and secret missions on turn 5.
It's a great choice. Yeah, it's a very good
And I'm like, cool. So supply drop is only 15 all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So 15, 20.
Yep. Nope.
And so I put my warlord was Death Leaper. I put it in reserves, brought it in on turn 4 with unit of warriors, got on his home objective, battle shocked, and killed his PBC for good measure. Like only one. I didn't even do either with all the OC I had, but we tied it up at the end. I'm like, cool. I got my secret mission. He's like, oh, what was it? And I'm like, well, my warlord's on your home. And he's like, oh shit. And that was a very up until that play, it would have either been a draw or I would have lost 11-9. As the other two mentioned, Death Guard on table 7 is rough.
Real rough.
That was day 1. It was great. Had a wonderful time. Day 2, we go into by Brush and Bolter, which was super scary for pairing. And I get paired into Blood Angels and I chose a table. I chose table 2 because it has that nice long diagonal firing lane.
Yep. And
I played Riel, and she was like, I have Lancers, and you have Execrenes. Let's see what happens. I pretty much forced her out into the open with my 5 lone ops, and I was like, yeah, you can hop on this objective, and then I'm going to shoot you. And it's a fun thing when you do the melee v melee matchups, where if you charge 2 things, one of them's getting interrupted.
Yep.
Yeah. And she did that because she didn't have a lot of choice in the matter because of how elite Blood Angels are right now.
Yep.
I interrupted her death company. I also she made me dump so much CP on her turns. It was insane. Between reactive moves, interrupts, shrinking my lone op. But that was a very, very close game. I was all but tabled. I think I had 1 Neurolictor and Death Leaper left by the end of the game. And that was a 12-8 victory. Or I'm sorry, 11-9 victory. And then my last game of the event, because our team got the bye round 5, was against actually my roommate, who we brought in for a ringer for a team that needed a player.
Yep.
And I told the other team's captain, I'm like, yeah, I want your Thousand Sons player. And if I get your sister's player, he's my roommate, my practice buddy, I'm going to bully him and it's not going to be fair. Somehow I got sisters. And I'm like, right? We're going to do this.
Yep.
So me and him played. We had a very fun game. You know, it was not really casual, but like, we were very familiar with each other. And that was a 20-0. I boxed him in his deployment zone, and he's like, I'm going to bring to flame you. And I'm like, cool, but you're not going to move while you do it.
Yeah.
And he had the Celestine, he had Morven Vol. Didn't he have all of that? 2 emulators?
He reserved Vol and Celestine. Celestine came down outside his deployment zone. Vol came in near his back corner.
That's where you fucked up. You should have reserved Vol.
I threw 20 Gene Stealers tied up to emulators or 2 Castigators and emulator. He killed one of them. I tied up his other Castigator and re-tied up to another unit. And then I threw some warriors at him. And by the time that he was able to get out, it was bottom of 5 and the game was over.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah, Vanguard units have a scary habit of doing that sometimes.
Violent.
Yeah.
Gene
He
Stealers
said you were very rude.
Yes. Yeah, no, I was. I apologize. I'm like, look, I'm so sorry. I know we practice and like not to be a jerk, but those are charity. This is for realsies.
This is for keeps, baby. That's what you said. This is for keeps.
I did play a Shadow 5th round against one of my own teammates during the bye, a Knights player, Caesar. Just to get practice on the ritual because I know Lewis always runs the ritual and I wanted to practice it.
Yeah.
That game ended a draw, which I take as a win because into Knights, Tyranids are awful.
Yeah.
And he went 4-1 throughout the event. I'm proud of that dude, man. 4-1 with Knights.
Caesar's good. I played him at a few events. I think one of your Rubicons. Yeah, no, he's getting there. And I think he's fairly new to the game still too. Actually.
No, he's a really good. Yeah, he is fairly new. He's a really good player. But Knights, man, Knights, like you know how Knights can be very skewed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's in my experience, Knights are turns 1 and 2, lose War Dogs. You try to like find your path to victory. Then Canis starts playing the game, and it's just like, all right, do what you want.
After his like quadruple nerf too, he can't do actions after he's hopped out of the destroyed, Knights. Yeah. And then he got the point increase. And what else? There was like three nerfs that they give to him. I don't remember the third one, but I mean, Canis got like axed, man.
Yeah, he's still insane, which is good. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I feel like there actually might be more of a space for Knights and teams just generally looking at like how this event ended. There was like Chaos Knight players that did pretty well.
They were
looking forward to the next year's ATC, the 5-man, if it's still a 5-man. I would not mind at all.
It's going to be a 5-man in April. Late April, we're going to do a 5-man.
I would not mind having a Knights player and then a Demons player, like either all Khorne or all Slanesh keepers. Like, cool. If you have 5 people, we have 2 durable lists. Good luck.
Yep.
But I went 4-0-1, so that was a wonderful event. Best running I've ever had an event, actually.
Nice.
My team was great. I was had some personal life stuff going on, so some of my teammates really stepped up for captaining and pairings and stuff, and I appreciate them for that. And we all had a good time.
No, congratulations, brother, and thank you for coming out, man. I'm glad you had a wonderful time as well, man. It was freezing in there too. It was freezing. The cookies were amazing. The bar was closed. Actually, you know what? After all the shit that I talked, I didn't even get one drink the whole weekend.
No?
What's going on there?
Nice.
I didn't need a single drink.
I had enough for both of us, Lewis, dude. Don't worry.
and people were feeding me. Shout out to Hendrix, man. Love that guy. From Dice Boys, man. But
I played him at Crucible. He's a great guy, for sure.
He's a great guy. He's a funny guy too, man. No, be honest with you, like every single major event like this that I put on, the night before, like Crucible is the same thing too. I end up getting like 3 hours of sleep because of my anxiety. I want to make sure everything is prepared, everything is running smoothly. Like I really want to. people don't understand how important it is for me to really make this amazing experience for everyone, right? And I hate what I had to do, like round 2 to that certain individual who was just acting stupid. I'm not gonna name names, and I'm not gonna name exactly what I did, but right, there were things that happened, but it's things like that I worked so hard to prevent those type of situations to happen, and it really sucks when people just can't act like adults. You know what I'm saying? Just like grow up, man. Like be an adult. You're playing literally with toy soldiers, and I guess that's a catch-22, where you are a child if you're playing with toys. But I mean, like we're grown, right? We're grown women, we're grown men at this event.
You disqualify somebody in this thing?
I did, brother. I did, man. I had to DQ somebody. It was like round 2.
Well, I'll have to find out privately.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find out privately.
I'm curious. It takes a lot to get DQ'd by Lewis, I think. So.
It takes a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So he definitely messed up.
Like you got to do something really bad to like get DQ'd from an Onslaught event, man. I dish out a lot of yellow cards, but to get DQ'd, man, it's really rough. But it's one of those things, right? Like I had 3 hours of sleep, and then I finished Friday, and I went home. Thomas messaged me, and I was like, "Hey, man," I messaged him like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, "Sorry, bro, I fell asleep at like 7 p.m. I was tired. I ended up going to sleep again. But anyways, I always want to make sure it's an amazing event for everybody. So it is what it is. So what do you guys? So going to the team event, and I know it can be a little bit different, right? But it's mostly, it's mostly going to be the same in singles event. So what do you guys think? All three of you, your collective opinions. It doesn't have to be similar. It can be all different, whatever. Your personal opinion. What do you think the meta is shaping out to be right about now with all of the new updates and everything? Give me your top 3s, if you don't mind, please.
Top 3 armies?
Top 3 armies. Without the pilots, just tell me like the top 3 lists, or armies rather, that you think is just killing it right now in the game. What are your top 3?
Probably Grey Knights, GSC, and Atmec would be my top 3 picks. Like if you wanted a consistent win or draw games lists, take those 3.
I mean, in terms of me, I think the battle suits the Red Cadre, I think is the name of it. I think surely that it has to be in the top 3 just because of like the damage you can put out, the flexibility.
The results that's gotten is crazy.
And Jack almost went completely perfect at this event with it. I think he had 4 20s and a 19.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At an event with all genuinely pretty good people.
And that list was also the top performer at DreamHack too.
Actually.
To that point real quick, that we actually it was into my team, our Chaos Space Marine player gave him his 19. Yeah, and we were all like cheering him on and hyping him up. Yeah. He's like, "You guys are happy? I got 1 point." I'm like, "You don't understand."
Yeah, he's the only guy who did it.
Yeah, and then by the end of the event, I'm like, "You gave him the 99. You're a freaking stud, dude."
Then my second pick, I don't know. I've only really played against sisters. I haven't really played against sisters in a tournament setting, honestly. I know they're respectable, but I don't ever want to play against that abominant GSC stuff again. But I don't know if I could say it's a top 3 army. I think Space Marine Gladius in general is super flexible, top 3. And then this is a hard question, man. So many good armies, and that says a lot about where the game is at right now. Is like I feel like all of us could say 3 different armies, right? And
be right.
And it mightn't be right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And be right.
But just for me personally, like GSC, I think is in a spot where I don't want to play against it right now. I think any style of GSC, and my last top 3, man, it's probably just sisters. I think that's just probably a safe route to go.
Yep.
Yeah, from everything I've heard about it, I haven't really gotten to like experience it yet or play test it, but it seems to be that sisters aren't even worse than they were previously with the updates. So I think that's, for me, pretty clearly still number 1, to be honest. I think as long as you're talking about a really good player, that retaliation Godric list, the results just kind of speak for themselves, and it's going to be at. And then I think one we're missing. A shout out to GSC too, but guard with Aquilons now. Guards with Aquilons is incredible. I mean, that data sheet by itself would be enough to make bad codexes good, and guard was far from a bad index, whatever you're going to call it. Before.
Yeah, guard always just flying on the radar.
I think guard are also still unbelievably strong. And that's saying I picked up guard in a week and went undefeated at DreamHack.
He went like 13-0, basically.
Yeah, basically. And there's just so many good abilities and strong, simple play patterns with that army that once you're given that extra tool, the perma 3-inch deep striking unit, it's not going to be pretty. Actually, is my guess, but it's not as strong as some of the Eldar stuff in the beginning edition, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. But I would say probably.
I do love the Grey Knight pick though. Yeah.
Yeah, Grey Knights are gross too, man, in the right hands, right? But I think just in my opinion, my top three in the without putting it in nobody's hands. I mean, without putting it in specific hands, you can put them in any hands, right? I think from 1 to 3 is going to be GSC, AdMech, and Guard.
That seems about right. I haven't actually played against. Only played against melee AdMech. So, but I've seen what it's done. So
it's gross, bro. It can be demoralizing, and it's almost like it almost feels like when Votann first came out, and you just get dunked on like turn 1, 2, right? And you're just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
what in the hell just happened?
Except it's worse because while they're doing that, they're gonna send 6 units that reduce 6 OC2 units that have your OC.
Yes.
So not only are you dying, you're not scoring primary, and they are.
Yep.
Basically, yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I love it, everyone. I appreciate it very much. So let's go ahead and wrap up. I appreciate it. Anybody else got anything else to say before we go?
Thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely happy to be here for sure.
Would love to have you guys again. Message me and let me know if you ever want to participate. We're always doing a live show, me and Thomas, known as Entitled Regal. But we're always doing the live show on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday. And I do a lot of orc content, Garrett. I do a lot of World Eaters content every single week, things like that. I do Space Marine if you want to bring it on. I know I got some Space Marine fans on there, so I would love to have you, Bryce, as well.
I am as much of a orc player as you guys are, just to be clear, by the way. All right. Let me just point that out. All right.
Bryce, he's an orc player.
No, I kid, of course.
The difference is I can only play orcs.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And I was messing with you too at Crucible. I was like, "Where's your orcs, bro?"
Yeah, I'm back now. I don't think I'm getting off them for a while. So.
Nah, man, we're gonna be great in a great position for a very long time. So I'm glad you're back, brother. I'm glad that you're still on it, Bryce. Hopefully, I see you with your orc list. Maybe I end up going to TLM. I don't know. I have a lot of family things. This is usually the timeout time for me throughout the year where I take this year off, right? I love to go to a bunch of events, but my wife is like, look, man, you need to do a lot of holidays, things, shopping. So I don't know. I might just completely just take 2 months off of 40K entirely. That's going to hurt my soul. I highly doubt it. I might just get some practice games in. But anyways, hopefully I don't, but we'll see. We'll see. I might be at the TLM event. I might end up going to Coastal Assault, which is going to happen in December. So we'll try to figure it out. But no, thank you everyone for participating in the show. Thomas, as always, much love. If everyone could please just tell everybody goodbye. I'm going to go ahead and throw you in the lobby, and I'm going to give a quick outro.
See you, people.
See you guys.
Thank you, guys. All right, so thank you so much. Much love to Bryce. Much love to Garrett for participating in the show. They brought a lot of exciting content, so I really hope that you enjoyed it as well. We got some Space Marine talk in there. We got some Orc talk in there. And we got some Tyranid talks in there as well, right? I didn't want to talk about my tournament organizer or CEO community organizer experience because I was just bored you to death. But thank you very much to everyone who participated. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe as always. And remember, Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. Take care. Have a wonderful night, everyone. See you soon. Happy holidays. If I don't see you on the live show, I'll see you on one of the ops or rapid fire tactics. All right? Take care. Have a great night.